Hey, this is Eric, and I'm here in Cedar Rapids at the supercharger station here. Arrived with 8% in Cedar Rapids here. There's 6 chargers available, 8 total chargers, which I can see if I click on the actual station here. Price is 31 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're actually pretty busy, as busy as it gets. So this is usually a pretty slow station. So 250 kilowatt max, and we're at a Hy-Vee grocery store, and they have food and restrooms and pretty much everything you could want. Again, this is an 8-stall station. You can see, unfortunately, that one of them is kind of iced by this semi-truck. It's blocking the entrance to the stall. It's not a big deal at this slow station, but it's a BSL logistics truck in there. You can see the numbers on it. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and give my car a charge. Just gave it a bath today. Again, these superchargers are super easy. Just lift up, press the button, stick it in, and check the charge. And I'm already at over, well, not quite 100 kilowatts yet. It's getting close. I arrived at 8%, but I had plenty of time to preheat the battery, so I'll see how it does here. Also, I wonder if this is limited at all. So we're only at 103 kilowatts. I'm going to go ahead and do a charging speed test here as well. So we'll see how long it takes to charge up to 90% or so. But I wanted to show ramping here, but it's not getting up above 100 kilowatts. So maybe the whole station's throttled a little bit, or maybe the battery pack's still cold, but it's been preheating for like 45 minutes, so it should be fine. There, we're finally getting up 120 kilowatts. $133, $141. Now we're going. $150, $60, $70, $80, $190 kilowatts, $200 kilowatts. We're still going up. We're going to peak about 220 kilowatts now. So that's not bad. It might still creep up a little bit more, but it is. $230 kilowatts. Okay, we hit 250 kilowatts. So we maxed out the station. It must have just been the battery a little cool yet, so it took it a little bit to get up there. Now we're hovering right around 240. But you notice we're already at almost 20% battery, and I pulled in at 8%, so it's going pretty quick. Let's see if I can make it so you can see that charging. thermals just turned on in the car at about 26%, and we're at 193 kilowatts. It had dropped a little bit below that and then went back up when the cooling kicked on. Okay, I've gone up 30%, 20 kilowatt hours in just a few minutes. Car's still at 155 kilowatt charging. Telling me it has 30 minutes remaining to 90%. My hunch is that that's inaccurate for some reason. In 45 minutes to 100%, it says. I think this only uses increments of 5 minutes too, so it'll probably drop down some. Two more Teslas just pulled in. They're alternating spots, which is good, but don't have to here with this supercharger being a version 3. Alright, I've already added 40% or 27 kilowatt hours since I got here. The car is at 125 kilowatt charging. I'll set this to 100%. I'm not going to actually stay that long. I'll probably leave a little over 90. So in about 10 minutes, I've charged 42% of the battery. This is on a version 3 supercharger. 50% and I'm at 118 kilowatts. Tesla slows down pretty quickly above 50%. At the end, I'll calculate the average speed for a longer charge. Version 3 superchargers really are an advantage if you travel from like 10% to 70% of your battery, but if you charge up to 90%, I think the difference shrinks a lot because it can't keep charging at the high power level. So the advantage you get from the higher power disappears quickly. You still get the advantage from not having to share power with the stall next to you, though, at a busy charger, which makes a huge difference. That same car is driven by twice now. You'll see people checking out the Teslas a lot at the chargers. Some of them will come up and ask questions, but with people just sitting inside the car, that's not as common. It also doesn't help that these cars are going backwards down. Oh no, it's bi-directional there. It's just this truck is really blocking the intersection, actually. The semi cab tractor. $55%, 110 kilowatts. I don't know what this white Buick's doing. They're just driving back and forth in the parking lot. Makes me a little question what they're up to. You can't see them because you can't see out the window, I guess. Okay, I've added 50% in about 13 minutes, 14 minutes. And that is 34 kilowatt hours in my car. I've lost probably 10% capacity. Most of that capacity loss is right at the beginning of the car's life. So like you might lose 5 or 10% in that first year and a half, and then after that it slows down a lot. I think it's just how lithium batteries degrade. Okay, I'm at 60% and 100 kilowatts. So you can tell I'd already, everything since like 50%, I would have been fine on a version 2 supercharger. It wouldn't have been any slower. So basically any time you make up on the version 3 superchargers is either if you're sharing power or that 0 to 50% area. You know, making that charge 0 to 70% probably significantly faster, but if you go much over that, not much. So 65%, and I'm still at 94 kilowatts. Okay, 70% and 86 kilowatts. And that took about, I don't know, 19 minutes. I'll look at the video later. Another Tesla rolling in, a Model S. I notice most of the Tesla drivers get pretty good at backing in pretty well. You have to. Otherwise you won't charge very easily. It still takes them 2 or 3 times sometimes though. Truck driver just came back. I noticed the charge jumping around a little bit between high 60s and low 70 kilowatts as the cooling system deals with the battery, I suspect. Okay, we just hit 80% and the car's still at 70 kilowatts. And that took approximately 24 minutes or so. And we put in 48 kilowatt hours. And I just got a message, battery almost full. And it's going to slow down quickly. 85% and still at 54 kilowatts. About 28 minutes. Okay, we're at 53 kilowatt hours. Given about 3 miles per kilowatt hour on the highway, I've charged about 160 miles worth of range, highway range, and the cost of $17, so a lot more expensive than driving around town. I try to just use supercharging when I'm on trips. This is just an experiment. Still at 50 kilowatts, 52. It's funny because my first DC fast charging capable vehicle was a BMW i3, and the maximum that thing could do was 50 kilowatts, or a little less, like maybe like 45 or something. And I thought that was so fast at the time. And now I think 50 kilowatts is really slow. I'm like, it needs to be faster. Why isn't it 100 kilowatts? So here I am slowing down near the end of the charge, and I'm still over 50 kilowatts. I went back up to 57, and I'm thinking that's slow. It's all about perspective on what you're used to. So about 30 minutes into the charge to get 80% of my battery back, you know, from 8% to 88%. So that's pretty good. And that means I averaged, at 30 minutes, 54 kilowatts. It means I averaged a little over 100 kilowatts. Just double that number for a full hour. It's entertaining to watch cars park because the Teslas have to back in, so they stop to back in, and the cars behind them don't give them appropriate space because they're not familiar with the backing in aspect. And we're at 89%, and we drop below 50 kilowatts, just barely. Alright, 90%, 47 kilowatts, and we added 55 kilowatt hours. And the time is a little over 30 minutes to do that, so that's not bad at all. Ideally, that could be 15 minutes, and you would see wider adoption of EVs, but at the same time, 30 minutes is fast enough for most things. Like if you're walking into Hy-Vee there and to come back out, it's going to take you a few minutes. And if the car's too fast, you won't actually have time to do that. So, yeah, this is a good station. And I'll go ahead and graph this up offline and, you know, show a timeline of the charge. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video now because I'm going to quit charging here.